Welcome to Pep Talks, a patient experience podcast where we share stories of connection, compassion, and care. This year, we heard stories that reminded us of something simple, yet powerful, that healing happens in many forms. In 2025, we listened to patients, caregivers, and team members share moments that changed them, moments that happened at the bedside, in hallways, in waiting rooms, and sometimes in the quiet spaces in between. You will hear how music can become a bridge between hearts, how a nurse's awareness, a chaplain's presence, or a simple act of kindness can change someone's entire experience. You will hear stories of loss and resilience, of advocacy and purpose, and of people who turned their hardest seasons into hope for others. This episode brings together some of the most impactful moments from our past year. Not because they are extraordinary, but because they reflect what happens when people show up for one another fully and compassionately. These are the voices of 2025, and these are the moments that remind us why patient experience matters.
I'm Lloyd Goldstein. I'm a certified music practitioner. I play the bass violin. I work for the Arts and Medicine program at the Moffitt Cancer Center, playing music for patients, families, visitors, and staff. I work in the inpatient areas and the outpatient areas. I've been here for 15 years. Before that, I played in the Florida Orchestra for 21 years. I have never looked back. The actual interactions with people, the inspiration that I get from working with each individual patient. I cannot tell you how much I've learned from patients. This has been an incredible journey, amazingly fulfilling, and I've developed as a musician and a human being in ways I would not have had I stayed in the orchestra. I see music as transformative. I see it doing things, having effects on people that I don't see with almost any other art form or any other activity or interaction. I don't really understand it fully, but it seems to transcend normal lines of communication and a normal sort of everyday consciousness, and just directly impact people in a way that creates what I call a bridge between hearts.
So my name's Randy Isaacson, and I live in Dunedin, and my wife was a patient at Moffitt. About 4 years ago, we were up on, I think it was 4W. There was a nurse who greeted us, and I don't remember her name now, but she's like, "Welcome, you're gonna be with us for a while. And here, let me show you to your room. This is gonna be your home for the next 30 or so days." And it was, the thing that felt good was like, yeah, we do this all the time. This is how it works. This is how you get better. For me as her husband of 34 years, it gave me a good feeling because she was comfortable. When it came to the nursing care, it was one of the points that just really didn't miss. She was going to be admitted into the clinical trial on a Monday, and I got a call from her hematology oncologist on Sunday that said, and she said, "I don't think she can survive this clinical trial, and you guys need to look into hospice." On that Sunday, the nurse from hospice came. They began hospice care. And Lynn said, "I'm glad you guys are on board with this." And it's something I think about a lot, because she was telling us that she understood what was going on, and she was comfortable that this is just the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes, every treatment is not a success. An important part of treating cancer is also treating the folks who don't make it and their families.
My name's Alexander Dojanovsky. I've been an employee here at Moffitt for 5 years now. I work in the experimental cell therapy department. I'm one of the supervisors there. So I'm a father of 2 kids. I got 2 boys, 13 and 7. They were my kind of motivation behind everything. The reason why I kind of had to focus on myself and get better. So when I came in for my first transplant, I got to speak to my kids, and it was through a glass, because they're not allowed into the transplant area because we're all, neutropenic and kids are germy. They didn't understand why I was, in the hospital and could only talk to Dad through a glass for, 3 weeks. I remember one nurse coming, and she kind of came behind me and asked about my family. I told them my kids, and she got to see them, and she was very energetic, and she saw how important, they were to me. She came back, and there was a doctor with her as well, and he said that I could go leave the unit and go into there was a little room right there on 3 West and spend some time with them there. They see my family here, they see my kids here, they see how important everyone, is to me, and they recognize, what I'm fighting for, and just gave me the opportunity to take 5-10 minutes and, give them big hugs, tell them I love them, and it made a very big difference. The way, I inspire my team, I think the most is kind of just communicating and letting them know that we may not see the patients on the day-to-day, but we impact them every day. Whether we're in the clean room or in the lab, we're creating drug products that are going to be infused in the patients. We don't know their individual situations, but when you're waiting for a drug product to be, manufactured for you, I know that patient is very hopeful that this product is going to help them eliminate their disease burden, hopefully eradicate it, and so they can move on with life with their families and get back to kind of what's important.
My name's Greg Feldman, and I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in February of 2012. I always prided myself on being, a strong individual. I would go walking in my neighborhood. There was sometimes I'd have to sit under a shady spot on my journey around the neighborhood and just sit down and wait for a few minutes till I got some more energy. And I was out that day, and I didn't know what was going on. All I know is I felt like my heart was coming out of my chest. I was in full panic mode, and I dialed Moffitt, and they answered. I was glad that they answered because I needed a life preserver, and that's when I found out about the help that was available across the street. I was a little embarrassed to go in there. I don't know, I think it was more of the culture that I was raised in. I remember talking to the psychiatrist, which, sharing your feelings, although it was extremely necessary, it wasn't something that I was used to. They provided the help that I needed to get through that point, and it was unexpected for me, but I don't believe it was unexpected for the professionals that were treating me.
My name is Joel Santos Gonzalez. I'm 34. I was born in Puerto Rico, but I've really lived in Florida my whole life. So at this point, I guess I consider myself kind of more Floridian than anything. When I was diagnosed, I was 28. I was a teacher. To me, I felt like I was in prime shape. So I was in infusion, and it was one of those signs. So people that think that those signs aren't read, I promise you we get bored, we read those signs. So I saw an AYA holiday party sign, and I said, let me go check this out. I was starting to get kind of depressed. I was about 3 months into the treatment. So like the initial adrenaline, the sort of like, yeah, we'll do this, had like worn off. So now it was like just very real of like, this is my life. Like I'm doing these treatments. I don't know how it's all gonna go. I'm not really in the same boat as my age group anymore. Did I have people I could relate to? No. I'm dealing with this crazy life or death thing that they don't know anything about. Adolescents and young adults, AYA, it is 18 to 39-year-olds dealing with cancer at some level, whether survivor or in treatment. You don't really think of this population of working young adults or college kids or whatever that are getting cancer. So it made a difference there. And they find you resources. They help you navigate health insurance. They help you navigate jobs. They help you know your rights for sick leave and all these kind of things. You're right in the thick of it. You're right at a point where people usually are building their lives. So like it was December. I was bummed out. I went to the party. I met my friend John, who's a testicular cancer survivor. John relayed to me his treatment, right? So his was like chemo every single day for like 2 to 3 months. Something about just knowing this guy in front of me has done the same thing and he's fine. Like he's doing well, he's happy, he got through it. Like if he can get in there repeatedly day after day, you could get in there. So the next day it changed the game. Like when I went to go get chemo that day, I felt just significantly less anxious, less afraid, and it made a big difference.
Our next segment is Judge Mark Pizzo. A Tampa native raised by immigrant parents from Sicily and Spain, Mark's life has been shaped by family, resilience, and service. With a deep personal and multi-generational connection to cancer and to Moffitt, he turned his experience into purpose, becoming one of the founding members of Moffitt's Patient and Family Advisory Council, helping ensure that patient and family voices remain at the center of care.
PFAC started, and I got invited to be on Patient and Family Advisory Council. Moffitt was always patient-centric. We take that from our founder, H. Lee Moffitt, who started Moffitt based on the notion that he lost friends to cancer and he thought he could make a difference. And so this change that PFAC brought was just a reinforcement of its patient-centered care, which is nothing more than the golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. It's little things that patients observe that staff may not because they're too busy doing something else. We've done so many things that are big and so many things that are little and are never noticed. You know, I think about my professional career and my Moffitt career, and if you ask me which one was more important and which one was more of a difference, the Moffitt career has been more rewarding at times than the judicial career. So the idea of PFAC was the idea about changing our culture, or at least inculcating our culture in everything that we did at Moffitt, because we were always patient-centric. And so who says an idea can't move on?
My name is Raylene Simpkins. I am a registered nurse in the neuro department and I serve as a neuro navigator. I have been with Moffitt, a Moffitt since 2017, all of which has been in the neuro department. It was a typical summer Florida working day, leaving at 5 o'clock, and that means thunderstorms. And so this particular day, it was me and one of the other navigators in the GYN department. Her name is Elvie. And so I was taking her from Magnolia campus to the offsite where she parks.
My name is Elvie Mendez. It was pouring. It was raining hard.
Here comes this car, and the lady in the front seat says, "Hey, do you need a ride?"
And she insisted she was not going to leave us there.
And I look at the driver and I look at her face and I said, "You're on the emails."
She never said, this is my title. She said her name, and that's all. Where I come from, you don't even meet executives. But not only to see them, but to have them offer you a ride. That was such a humbling experience. So I remember going home and telling my husband, I really do like where I work. I really feel that I'm home.
For her to offer us into her personal space just to help lighten our load or make it a little more comfortable for us, it just really, to me, just spoke to the heart of who we are here at Moffitt. It doesn't have to be the big things. It could simply be a hello and you making a connection with someone, taking just a small amount of time of a busy day can change the trajectory of someone's outlook, their perspective. Someone may not know or remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
My name is Carrie Jo Ellis. I am a sister, a niece, an aunt, and a daughter. I am a full-time PhD student at the University of South Florida. I came to Moffitt in January of 2022. So on that first day, my mom and my brother came with me to my appointment. So I went up to the front, and the woman that was there, I shared with her, I was like, hey, I know that Moffitt now has a policy where only one person can be in the room with you, but my brother is here with me as well. Is it possible that he could come in or whatever? He wants to hear too as well. And she's like, we'll set him up with an iPad, and whenever you get into your meeting, he'll just join you there through the iPad. After talking to us and everything, at the very end, he said to my brother and to my mom, do you have any questions? And I just remember how powerful that was, because they mean so much to me. That my mom and my brother was there and that they were able to ask questions about my condition. And Dr. Saeed was actively listening. He was so attentive. And that was just powerful for me. And my mom still talks about it to this day, about that very, very first meeting that we had here at Moffitt. Having family members be involved in the process of the patient's cancer diagnosis is so important. I'll never forget Dr. Saeed speaking to my family like they were the ones that were also diagnosed. And so everyone is involved in my cancer diagnosis. They don't have cancer, but they have cancer,
My name is Joshua Rivera, a team member, a survivor, advocate, lobbyist, fundraiser. That kind of sums it up high level. October 19th, 2007, it's a day that will live in infamy. I like to tell people, I really didn't find myself until, I had cancer, right? I was kind of meandering. And then after going through defeating the cancer, thanks to my wonderful Moffitt providers and team members, I found my purpose, which is why we're sitting here today. So I was working in IT at the time, and one of my fellow IT managers reached out to me and said, hey, my son has a friend who is on the baseball team with him, and he got diagnosed with sarcoma, and he's currently really struggling right now, inpatient. And would you be willing to go talk to him? And I was like, of course. And I had never met this individual. And I went to the room. His mom was there. His dad was there. And I spent the next 4 to 5 hours chatting with him, chatting with the parents. At some points, I was able to have one-on-ones just with him. And he was in a point very similar to where I was at, where, the chemotherapy is cumulative and it's just so intense. For sarcoma in particular, it's high anthracycline. So this patient, young guy, very young, teen, didn't want to continue. He's like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. We had, spent these 4 or 5 hours together. And I go home, and then the next day, I get a text from his mom, and she says, he's decided to continue his treatment, thanks to the conversation that we had. And then now, fast forward, it's been probably 6 or 7 years since then, and now this person's graduated college. He was honored at a Tampa Bay Rays game, and he's living his best life. Your role, whatever your role is equally as important as the surgeon's role, or as the med-oncs role, or the nurse's role, or the APP's role. It doesn't matter what position you have at Moffitt. You are contributing to the mission. you're essential to the mission, because we couldn't do it without all the team members. We're not here for a paycheck. If you're here, it's because you should believe in the mission, because you are part of the mission.
I'm Margaret Gasaira, and I started working at Moffitt in 2001. I employ as a ES2 tech, environmental service. I do discharge cleaning. I train new employees.
I am Keith Hall. I am the patient care manager of 3 North, and I've been at Moffitt for 6 years now. Margaret comes in with a big personality. I mean, you can't miss her. She's very positive. She always goes by my door, makes sure she says, "Hello, Mr. Keith, how are you?" Her enthusiasm obviously is passed on to all the others that she works with.
I meet all different kinds of patients. You just imagine that that's your mom, your dad, or some family members laying there. And I'm here for the patient. The most important thing, I'm here for the patient. I love the patient. I got a wonderful team. All of us treat one another like family. All I could say, Moffitt is a wonderful place to work, and all we gotta do is be a family, come to work and have fun, have a smile on your face, be nice to everyone, treat others with respect, and those sort of stuff. Because we want to treat everyone with respect. No matter what race you are, what color you are, treat everyone with respect. They treat us like a family. That's our Moffitt team.
So I'm Jason Filippini. I am privileged to be one of the staff chaplains here at Moffitt Cancer Center, Magnolia campus. I've worked at Moffitt for almost 8 years. I had always known that I had wanted to work in oncology. I had always known that I wanted to work at Moffitt. It was a draw into this. This is the most beautiful place. Nobody wants you. Yes. If we cured this disease tomorrow and we all had to find new jobs, nobody would complain. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. So it's a privilege to get to do this work. But being in here taxes the mind and it taxes the spirit. However you connect to that, whatever that means for you. And spiritual suffering is not religious suffering. It can be. That Venn diagram overlaps. So while chaplains are a representative of the spiritual and the religious, our privilege is to be able to check in on those parts of the journey just like our doctors are checking in on the physical. So as a chaplain, my privilege is to be able to connect people to those healing modalities. We know, all of us know, that cure isn't always possible. When we say cure, we think of cure of the body, right? Getting rid of this disease. But healing always is, and sometimes that healing is just as important of the mind and of the spirit as it is the body for patients and their families on this journey. One of my favorite things is to be able to really actively listen to someone's anxiety or something that they've presented, and then be able to be like, well, actually, maybe we can do something about that. Something they thought was hopeless. We've had patients on, literally on comfort measures only, that we've been able to, take out and have the sunshine hit their face for one last time. And, that's powerful to be part of that healing, not cure, but healing. You cannot do this work at this level of true empathy, true compassion, without it being emotional, and without carrying some of it with you. I can't tell you the times I've held a team member in the Pyxis, in ICU. I can't tell you how many times that's happened. Been crushed on the floor with providers. If I were to impart anything to team members here, find a way to say yes. when it comes down to it, we're here to take care of our patients and families. And if there's a way to do that, then we do that.
My name is Ann Klein, and I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in August of 2020 after having symptoms that I didn't think were cancer related at all. Started getting multiple tests, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. That's when the surgeon in Vero Beach, Florida, had noticed that there was a suspicious mass on my pancreas. They biopsied it and then determined that it was cancer. And then that's when, immediately when she called me with the results, she referred me to Dr. Hodel at Moffitt right away. So I came to Moffitt really not knowing anything. I didn't research a thing. I didn't research the hospital. I didn't research the doctor. Because I was just so miserable. I was at Moffitt for about 6 weeks for radiation treatments and had to come in 5 days a week. And I had a really great experience with the gentleman named Gary that was in the check-in area. And the reason that he stood out to me and still does is that I was by myself. Every day that I would check in, he connected with me immediately. And I think noticed that I was by myself, but never said the words, "Oh, Miss Klein, are you alone? Are you by yourself?" He would always just say, "How are you doing today? Are you doing anything fun to take care of yourself?" Those types of things. I would get excited and hope that I would see him every day because it was just such a friendly face. And the thing that really made such a difference was, as my treatment was coming to an end, he must have also been keeping track, which was really sweet. He just said, "Is anyone going to be with you the last day to ring the bell with you?" Sorry. And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, I'd like to be there for you if you'd like me to." And I was like, "Oh my God, I would love that." So he made sure that he was there that day, just was there to smile and give me the confidence to just ring the bell. You feel invisible sometimes. He noticed that I was alone, but never said, "Are you alone?" because that makes you feel worse. And also would smile every day and again say hello and goodbye every day, ask how I was feeling every day, and then to go above and beyond to ask if he could be there for me on my last day was just broke my heart in beautiful pieces. But he made a world of a difference, and I can't thank him enough.
As we close out this year, we're reminded that patient experience isn't one moment or one role. It's the collective impact of people choosing to care again and again. It's found in the way we listen, in the way we notice, in the way we treat people, not just as patients, but as human beings with families, fears, stories, and hopes. The voices you heard today represent thousands more. Team members, patients, caregivers, and advocates who make this place what it is. As we look ahead to a new year, we're excited to continue sharing stories that inspire, challenge, and remind us of our purpose. Stories that reflect the heart of our mission and the promise we make to every person who walks through our doors. Thank you for listening, and thank you for caring. Thank you for being part of these stories. We look forward to sharing many more with you in the year ahead.